This is the March meeting of the Air Quality Management District of Southern California, where they don't actually confront the refineries and the problem of gas and diesel cars. Instead, they're nibbling around the edges of small, sort of irrelevant programs.
Very successful buy-down programs, most notably our lawnmower exchange program, where a member of the public can bring in a dirty gasoline-powered lawnmower, trade it in, it's scrapped, and they have provided a new electric.
So this is sort of nibbling. This is sort of filling while the world burns, because they are believing in the mythology of fuel cells, as we'll see next month at the April meeting. But instead of actually doing anything about zero-emission cars or the refinery emissions that are necessary for cars, they're working on gas lawnmowers. Worthy though it be, it's not the major issue, and it still doesn't affect the very serious issue of children having permanent lung damage from cars.
Where they could bring in noisy, high-polluting, gasoline-powered equipment and get the lowest low-emission models that could be used in the landscaping industry.
This was the first opportunity to comment. They're talking about hospital backup generating systems. Now, hospitals have a sort of a waiver to allow them to do more pollution because it's essential to have some sort of backup for hospitals. However, their first idea is to go to diesel generators.
One is that, let's say any of us are, for whatever bad circumstance on a hospital bed and they're operating and the lights go out. I think we all want those emergency generators to come on. I think we're all in agreement with that.
No, Mayor Polito, we're not all in agreement. What we really want to happen is the emergency battery backup to come on, because an inverter can detect grid failure within 1/60th of a second because it's phase locked onto the grid, and without starting generators, the battery backup can come on just as it does at our house faultlessly. Good afternoon to the board. I want to bring a new way of looking at this issue of emergency generators. If California is going to meet the goal of being coal-free and pollution-free and having zero-emission vehicles, we're going to have to do more insightful ways of dealing with situations like emergency backup. I happened to be in a hospital where the lights did go out, and there was a gap. There was like 30 seconds between the lights going out and the generators going on. Now that's not sufficient. Generators are what you think of as the first thing to do when the batteries, when the lights go out, turn on the generator. Well, why think about internal combustion generators? On my house, I have a battery backup which immediately backs up my computer and vital circuits, and there's not even a glitch. It's phase locked into the grid current, and when it detects the grid current going down in the 1/60th of a second, the battery backup comes on. Now these things are scalable. You can have as many batteries as you want. So why would you want to fire up a dirty diesel generator or, God forbid, a second diesel generator when there's absolutely no reason to do so? Now these institutions should all be forced to put in, first of all, to examine the schedule and tariff that they're on for their electric bill, because many of the institutions such as Cal Poly, Pomona, and many of the hospitals don't care about money. They just charge it to the ratepayer. But first, examine their schedules. Secondly, do a cost study about putting in solar panels on the roof to power them completely cleanly. And thirdly, all of them, every single institution should be required to put in battery backup systems with inverters that detect the failure and don't even glitch. You don't want somebody on the operating table when the knife is descending and then the lights go out for 30 seconds. So it makes a lot more sense to put in battery backup than to fire up generators. And the cost of putting in these generators is amazingly high. There's absolutely no reason to spend this kind of money for this kind of inferior backup. And I ask you to think about these new paradigms, because we need to do this. We have these refineries pouring pollution into the air in the Los Angeles air basin. We have now diesel generators pouring it into. We don't need any more load into our air. Think about new paradigms, new methods for dealing with these issues. Thank you.